Hey, Lightning, did you see that?
Yes, I sure did.
The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck. 'Cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel and the ones that run on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Whoa, whoa.
It's the Truck Show with your hosts, Lightning and Holman.
This episode of the Truck Show podcast, Have You Heard?, is proudly presented by Nissan. With the Frontier, Titan, and Titan XD, Nissan has a truck for every need, along with the legendary Nissan durability. Test drive your next truck at a local Nissan dealer today, or point your browser to nissanusa.com, where you can use the build and price tool to configure a Nissan truck that fits your lifestyle.
And when you're thinking about adding power or improving fuel economy, Banks has over 65 years of experience. Whether it's cold air intakes or exhaust systems, tuning, throttle control, charge air cooling, lubrication components, and much more, no one offers smarter, safer, 50-state emissions-compliant performance parts than Gale Banks. You'll find the best engineered parts for your truck at bankspower.com.
And when you're looking for quality, full synthetic lubrication for your truck, AMSOIL has you covered with motor oil, lubricants and protectants, grease, additives, and more. AMSOIL synthetic lubricants deliver wear protection, engine cleanliness, and fuel efficiency that conventional oils simply can't match. Find out how AMSOIL synthetic lubricants can save you money and time by helping your vehicles run better and last longer than with conventional oils at AMSOIL.com. When it comes to lubrication, AMSOIL, the first in synthetics.
EGR now celebrating their 50th anniversary as a leading manufacturer of truck and SUV accessory products with headquarters right here in the good old US of A. As an Australian-owned, family-run business with humble beginnings, EGR is now a global leader in the automotive accessory industry. If you're looking for window visors, fender flares, tonneau covers, lights, hood guards, and more, you'll find them all at EGRUSA.com.
We did it! We did it! Come here! Whee!
Oh, we can do a group hug.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Group hug.
Hell yeah.
I would like to call world record holder Scott Birdsall. You good with that?
Yep.
All right, let's dial.
Have you heard?
Yes, I have.
Well, hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
We're talking to Scott Birdsall on the other side. It's amazing how when you choose a race course that doesn't have cliffs, how you get to the end of it. Sorry, is it too soon?
What you did there?
I know where you live.
Dude, all right. So I obviously was following your exploits over the weekend. I was camping. I was in Utah and in Colorado also, and I would get cell service. I would check in with Chuckle's Garage. I kept was following along, was waiting. There were updates, and dude, it was kind of fun because you were like, okay, I got to do this. I can only go this fast. I have to go get a license, and then I got to get approved for this, and then I got to get approved for this. I think you said that the record was the high 100s, right?
It was so the record
that you beat, not your record.
The record for F fuel, the F blown fuel mini truck was 189.
Okay, so you freaking go out, and not only do you break 200 and get your red hat, which is a huge thing at Bonneville, it means that you're in the 200 mile an hour club, but you go out on your final run and you set a record. I know we were talking earlier. You're like, I think I know what it'll do. Dude, 229.4. What, you just couldn't get to 230 or what?
No, so actually I did two. The GPS, both the GPSs in the truck said 234 was max speed that I reached, but one pass was 228 and one pass was 231, and so they averaged them out.
That's awesome.
Gotcha.
All right, the two things I want to know about, because we talked about it, we had asked you, what do you think the salt's going to be like, because you've never raced on it before? So that's the first thing, is like, what was it from the driver's seat, and was it squirrely, was it crazy, was it a lot of traction? People want to know. The other thing was, you had basically assumed what power level you need to be at to break the record. Were you all out? Was there anything left to give? Do you think you would go back and beat your own record? I mean, I know how you are.
Because he was talking about originally 240.
Yeah, so if I would have added a little weight to the truck and pushed it a little harder, I feel I could have easily done 240. So we reached an aerodynamic wall at 230 miles an hour. You could not push the truck past it without spinning tires.
Got it.
So if you watch my video, I'm spinning tires and there's like a little save at 230 miles an hour. There's just a wall there. I couldn't get past it. I got past it a little bit, but not a whole lot.
You basically have the horsepower to go faster, but not the aero kit to go faster.
Yeah, because we're not even at 60% throttle at what we're doing.
Oh my God, dude!
So wait, what's happening aerodynamically? Yeah. Is it lifting up the tail end of the truck?
It's not lifting up the tail. There's so much drag that my traction cannot overcome the drag.
What's the solution? A big wing that you're not allowed to put because of your class, or bigger, wider tires? But then if you go bigger, wider tires, then you're not cutting through the salt.
More weight.
More weight. Okay.
More weight. Yeah.
So you want to put Lightning right in there with you?
How dare you?
There's already about 1,500 pounds of ballast on the truck just to make it go, 229.4.
Well, the two of us will easily add about 500 for you.
Where's he going to put us? In the bed?
Well, I mean,
put a couple ballast boys in the bed.
Yeah, as round as Lightning is, he is aerodynamic.
Oh, you're the one calling me round just because I'm eating McDonald's right now.
I mean, that was not eating. That was completely scarfing and shoving it in your face.
It was. What we were late to call Scott, as we normally
always are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Scott, what was it like? Yeah. You're driving. You got your license, so you kind of have a feel for the truck for the very first time. Now you're allowed to go over 200. You're in the truck. Yeah. You've got your ball chiller going, and you are approaching 200.
Yeah, that's the best part of the whole truck.
Ball chiller?
Yeah. So Vintage Air came on, and they gave me the Gen 5 Super Magnum system, which takes up like half the passenger compartment.
That's not even a real thing. Stop it with that name, the Magnum system.
It is.
Sure.
Anyways.
That's a Scott Birdsall meme is what that is.
And I'm sure it's all blacked out, too, isn't it?
See what you did there?
Anyways, there's two tubes blowing on me, and then there's one that goes underneath the seat into this submarine belt area, and it's got a gooch cooler.
All right. So now that your gooch is cool.
After I did my licensing runs, and my gooch was cooled down, I go out there, and it's like driving on loose dirt. It was just there's no traction. I basically had to short shift into 6th gear.
Do your tires have any tread on them, or are they completely smooth? Or
they're very little tread. So they're the Goodyear 300 mile an hour rated land speed tires. They're super lightweight, and you put 80 psi in the things
of nitrogen.
Of nitrogen. But I mean, it kind of finds its groove, and it wanders a little bit, but it's like driving on a loose dirt road.
So it never felt, Scott, it never felt like it was just going to lift like a boat, one of those where they hydroplane and they lift up?
Luckily, we got all the geometry and all the math and all the ballast points, and we got our center of pressure and center of gravity correct on the truck, and it worked so good, and it was very Toyota-esque. We just turned the key and went out and did a pass, and then looked it over, and then started it up and did it again, and just kept going. The only work we had to do on the truck was, I feel like they conveniently reinterpreted the rules and made us change some stuff on the truck.
Like what?
Which didn't really make me. They made me put a bed floor in it, which was lame because a lot of the previous record holders in these classes had holes in the bed, and suddenly I had to seal mine up. But we played ball. We took and we sealed everything up in the bed. We even changed the front windows a little bit, and I was asked to drill a hole in my cowl where the windshield wiper hole used to be. Like that would be any advantage. But the only things we had to do was things that were interpreted as not legal for the class. So we changed everything. and made our runs, and the truck ran like a freaking Swiss watch. Like, it's a Toyota, and it did Toyota things, and we were stoked.
All right, so before we get too far away from this topic, because we will, you're in the truck. You're 196 miles an hour. You know you've got the power. You know you've got the okay. Truck's feeling great. What was it like blasting through 200 and then and beyond? I mean, you're in the driver's seat. Explain that to us. What was that like?
200 miles an hour, there's a little wiggle there. Like, it started to fishtail a little bit, and you just push through it. But after that, it was smooth. You just have to be very dainty with the throttle, or it just blew the tires off at whatever speed you wanted to go. So we actually re-geared the truck, so it was geared so tall that the thing was barely getting into the spool. Like, it was, we were on tune 5 of 7 tunes. Tune 7 is 42 PSI. I think tune 5 was 34 PSI. So we weren't even at full boost or full power, and still couldn't use all the power.
Dude, I mean, I'm looking at the record run. So if you go to @Treckle's Garage, he's got it on his Instagram. He's got video of it. You're watching it, and you're just going, like, that's an insane amount of speed for a gardening truck, right? For a landscape truck. And you're like,
I mean, because honestly, how fast did one of these things go factory? Like 90 maybe?
Well, with a tailwind? Maybe. But here's the thing, is that those trucks, they're all dented up. Like, you could lean on one wrong, or your mower like rolls backwards in the driveway and completely tacos the bed. I've never seen a straight one. Yeah. Meanwhile, you're pushing 230 miles an hour of air density in front of you, and the grill hasn't shattered into a million little pieces and entered your turbo housing.
Everything has been remade to look original, but it's super stout.
No, it's not. It's all stock body panels. In fact, it's like, it's got a cheap overseas hood on it, and we got OEM fenders on it, but like, it's all like cheap overseas repop stuff except for the front fenders.
I can't imagine that they didn't just rip free from the truck at some point, and you were in the open buggy class all of a sudden or something like that. Like, I want to know.
He changes class halfway down the course.
Yeah, it's like, we've got an update. Scott Birdsall is now in this other class.
So we did notice that when we pulled it in after we were all done racing, that the front driver's door, like the leading edge of it where it goes down the A-pillar, was pulled out like a quarter inch from where it used to be.
Good. You know
so
what?
The wind was getting in there. Yeah, the wind was getting in there and actually bent the door a little bit.
Good.
So,
because if that hadn't happened, I would say this whole thing is shenanigans and fake news.
It's a sham.
It's a complete sham. There's no way a freaking 90s Toyota mini truck didn't have body panels tuna canning away
at 229 miles an hour.
4 times the speed it was ever meant to go.
We made some aluminum inner fender panels instead of the factory plastic ones that like nut-serted to the body and nut-serted to the fender, and in hopes that they wouldn't turn into a parachute.
Dude, I'm looking. Okay, so you had was it a factory windshield and the plexiglass on the sides? Is that how that worked?
Yeah, it's factory windshield and then like Lexan side windows.
So what was it like inside the cab? Was it pretty serene in there, or were you? I mean, God, obviously air is finding its way in.
It almost sucked off the doors when he was trying to pull it off the hinges.
Honestly, it felt like 100 miles an hour, but with consequences.
Okay. All right.
That's really what it felt like. 100 didn't feel any faster than. Well, you don't have any point of reference out there.
What I've heard about this, Scott, is that because the course is so long and the mountains are so far away, you don't really perceive how fast you're going because you don't have street signs, you don't have light poles and stuff whizzing by you and traffic going the other direction. So
no, you have there's course markers and you see them whizzing by pretty quickly. It's kind of shocking how there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 marking the miles on the course. And it's kind of shocking how quickly the miles go past. But I mean, it's hard to get a point of reference. Like I guess the feeling of speed to me was I knew it would get sketchy at certain miles per hour. And I just had to, and then I finally got to 230 and I tried to push through it and I just couldn't. So
what do you do if the truck gets squirrely? Because most of us will never go above 200 miles an hour, especially in a
Most of us will
a
never go
gardener's
above 120.
Yeah, in a gardener's truck.
Yeah.
But I mean, but this is a real race vehicle. I mean, even though we were making fun about this, it's fully caged and all that stuff. It's made so in case you do wad it up, you'll live. But like, what do you?
Yeah.
I don't know what maneuver you do with your foot on the gas, the brake.
Right? Is it
like,
better to lift and have engine braking, or does that upset the chassis? Is it better to push through
that's,
it?
you might have, that's like pulling a handbrake.
Right.
You would just spin. You can lift, but it can only be ever so slightly.
Yeah.
You cannot fully lift. You can't like get halfway out of it. You can get like a quarter of the way out of it, and you better get back into it really quick. You know, there's a lot of counter steering, and
Is it little? Is it?
it's just, I don't know. It's
assuming-
just all in your butt dyno. Like it all just kind of, it's kind of a fluid thing with me. I just go
And you're just
whichever
doing-
way the car wants to go.
minor corrections, right? Like you're just barely steering that thing, right? You're not like manhandling it, I would imagine.
You cannot manhandle it because it'll spin. There's not a lot of this year. I feel like the conditions were good, but I don't have any reference to what really good is. You know, I've heard guys talk about, you know, when it's really, really good, it feels like pavement. And this year there were some soft spots, and it was incredibly hot. And when it's super hot, the salt sucks moisture from the ground and becomes squishy. So like the best runs were first thing in the morning before like the sun was beating on everything and making it squishy.
So explain to somebody who's listening right now who doesn't know about the course. How many is it oriented in like north, south, east, west? How many miles is it? And then what's your slowdown zone when you got to pop the chute, and what do you have to get to the other end? What is the layout so somebody can kind of visualize that?
There's two courses, and I'll kind of work you guys through everything here. So there's two courses. There's a short course, which is 3 miles, and then there's the long course, which is 5 miles. So the short course is where I took all my licensing runs. So you do up to 150. So you weren't allowed to go over 150, 125 to 150. Then your next licensing run is 150 to 175. And you can't go over 175, but it has to be anywhere from 150 to 175. Your third run is 175 to 200, and you can't go over 200. And these are all in the short course, and these are to get your, you know, all your different licenses. And I licensed all the way up to an A license, which is up to 250 miles an hour.
Damn.
So, and then that's on the 3 mile course. And the 3 mile course, I think you have a mile and a half, 2 miles to slow down and stop. And then there's the 5 mile course. This is where all the streamliners and the, you know, 500 mile an hour cars would be running. That is a 5 mile course. And then there's 2 miles of shutdown, if not more. There's, you know, I might be wrong, but there's at least 2 miles of shutdown there.
Are you starting at mile marker 1, or are you on the accelerator being pushed off with your Cummins powered Ram before mile marker 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of guys get push starts there. Some get push starts because they have, you know, 2 or 3 speed transmissions, and they have to start out in a very, very tall gear. I get a push start because I want to save my clutch. The truck can start out in first and go all the way through 6th, but we get a push start because it's just better on the truck. And I'm not sitting there like a squid spinning my tires for the first, you know, 100 yards. I get a nice push start. I start out in first, and I just get going.
And so at what mile marker are you crossing the 200 mark?
I was crossing the 200 mile an hour mark just after the 1 mile mark on the short course when I was really getting in it. I think I was I was holding 200 plus through the 2 and the 3 mile on that. When I went on the short course, I took it a lot easier because I wanted to get it up there smooth. And I used the 4 and 5 mile to get up to 200 miles an hour.
Now, what's keeping you straight? It sounds you've got the cones or something
Momentum.
to your right. No. What is there a
There's a
blue line? Okay.
There's a blue line right down the center of each course, and then there's mile markers and course markers on the sides.
Did you ever get off that blue line?
Oh, if you watch the video, there's one part where on my final record run where the truck gets sideways at 230 and I use up all the real estate from left to right on the entire lane. Like I cross over the blue line into the other lane, and
it was like the most epic drifting ever. Jim Connor ain't got nothing on Scott Birdsall.
Your angle is really weak. Like you're not getting a lot of angle, but you are sliding sideways at 230 miles an hour.
I mean, you got to. Listen. You're already at 230. Why not check the other 230 things off your bucket list? Sideways at 230. Boom, done.
I mean, I kind of did that.
Sounds rad.
But not. He doesn't want to go like spin like a top.
You know, it'd be awesome.
Can you imagine that? I mean, in one of the remember you were talking to Gale Banks on his podcast about this a couple years ago, Scott. And he was talking about the Studebakers that he used to build, like crazy big engines in Studebakers. But he said they were really slippery.
Yeah.
But they could get tail happy if not engineered properly. And he had a couple of his drivers that he would build the car, the engine, the whole thing, and he would have a driver. And they would get 3/4 of the way down the course and then just spin like a top. I can't even imagine how scary that would be.
Yeah, I was fairly certain it was going to happen to me a couple times, and it didn't. I was able to steer out of it. But when you get sideways at Bonneville, if you can't instantaneously steer out of it, and when you steer out of these things, your counter steering input has to be perfect, or you are spinning. You know, if you overcorrect, you're just done for. You are spinning like a top, and hoping to God that your tires don't catch edge, because then you're taking a tumble.
Do you have, or do people have strakes, like vertical aerodynamic strakes that help keep the vehicle straight, or is that liability if you hit sideways, or is it even allowed?
The only aerodynamic things that I'm allowed to put on this truck are roof strakes that they span the length of the roof, and then a front splitter. That's it. The front splitter is obviously to control lift at high speed.
Sure.
But the roof strakes not only keep the flow of air over the bed like a laminar flow, instead of cascading over the sides of the truck, they keep it going down the center of the truck. But when you get sideways, it helps the truck not get airborne by stopping the air from going over the top of the car.
So 229 miles an hour, 0.4, 229.4. Is there something left on your bucket list as far as speed's concerned?
Yeah.
240.
Yeah, so the fastest production truck out there is the Jezel full-size truck. And I think their AA truck went 260-something plus, like high 260s. I would like to take my little F engine truck out there and best that next year with, around 2,000 horsepower and, a lot more weight.
I think that
we can do it.
You should throw a couple of John Deere mowers in the back for ballast, and then just make a mockery of the whole thing.
Yeah, it's just a lot of lead ingots strategically placed in the correct spots. But I think we can do 270.
Oh my God, 270?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's our goal for next year. I would like to be the fastest production bodied truck out of any class at Bonneville ever. I think that would be.
And this is with what truck again?
A 91 Toyota Hilux pickup.
Oh, this is the same truck.
Extra cab. Yeah, same truck. The frontal area of those little Toyotas is the least of pretty much anything made. They're tiny little trucks. They are still, compared to a sports car or any modern sports car or anything like that, it's about as aerodynamic as a shoebox. But for trucks, they are very aerodynamic.
Well, I think that if you're going to do that next year, if barring our schedules not allowing it, I think that would be awesome for us to be there to watch.
I mean, I think you guys should be out there. I was kind of bummed you weren't out there this year.
Yeah.
Well, Holman was on an adventure.
I felt betrayed.
I was at work, but we were watching. We were watching all the posts.
Yeah, I followed you religiously until I lost a cell phone connection for 2 days, and then I was like, "Damn! I wonder what happened to Scott." And then it came back. I was like, Holy!
By the way, he's telling the truth because the episode that week did not go up as it was supposed to. I didn't know about it until it was too late, and the listeners were blowing us up going, are you going to put up that episode? We're like, what are you... I'm thinking it's a lot.
Yeah, Dave came back to us, and it was the Have You Heard last episode, and I have my satellite communicator, and I texted Lightning, and I said, hey, I have zero service. I haven't had service in 2 days. I don't... And
Didn't get it.
You didn't get it. So.
Didn't get it. Nope.
So I didn't. Not only did I forsake you, Scott, I also forsook the entire audience of the Truck Show podcast last week. So
it's a monumental.
I was wondering what that was, but I was busy. So.
A monumental feat there, my friend. That's super cool. So 229.4 and a Toyota Hilux, and then you're going to go for brake 260 in the same truck with a lot of ballast and more horsepower. What do you see? You're making predictions beyond that. Like, are you just going to do Bonneville, or do you want to return to the mountain to Pikes Peak? Or
I'll be back at Pikes Peak. Yeah, I'm just not with an eco diesel, man. Those are worst engines.
Okay.
Yeah. No thanks. But
so what we're hearing is Old Smoky might make a return in some form.
Well, what's interesting is he did a video of pulling Old Smoky's parts out, and he had the raw frame sitting there on Instagram, like without everything on it, and he did a walk around. And you're looking at it going, it's not as bad as you would expect.
He's going to do something with that, isn't he?
I'm thinking.
Yeah. I can't confirm or deny that, but the chassis of Old Smoky is pretty straight.
The rest of it's just sheet metal.
I mean,
yeah. Like it's so straight, we probably don't have to pull it straight.
Yeah.
There's a couple pieces of tube by the fuel cell that need to get cut out and remade. But the inside cage structure is good. The under the cab is good.
I mean, it's just barely broken in.
Front of the cab got kind of screwed up. Yeah, I mean, it just got broken in a little bit.
Yeah,
so
it's ready to go.
Smokey needs a new body and some new suspension arms and kind of a version 2.
We know you, we love you. So hopefully we'll be able to stay in touch and keep tabs on your progress.
If that thing comes back, it'll be like a band reunion. You know what I mean? Like everyone is like, I was at the last concert, and then like, oh my God, My Chemical Romance is getting back together. Whoever the band is.
Really, My Chemical Romance?
Way cooler than My Chemical Romance.
No kidding.
Yeah, well, who's gotten back together recently? Like it was something like
Blink 182.
I guess that'd be a little better.
But then My Chemical Romance.
I'm a My Chem
We're
fan.
getting marginally better. I'm gonna need like some kind of cool metal band, not some like.
Who's broken up and gone back together? It's like not like Sabbath or anything.
Didn't Mike Herrera and NoFX get back?
Yeah, but that's kind of punk, weak Bay Area stuff. That's not like
what?
No, he's like real metal. He's talking like Pantera. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah, let's get something a little harder there.
Congratulations. We're super stoked you did it and you didn't die, which is awesome.
Are you going to do an oil analysis on the AMSOIL that's in the engine?
Yeah.
I want to find out what the health of the engine is after that run. I'm curious.
It wasn't even at full boost. It was just cruising.
That's crazy to me. That's so crazy.
Because we're running methanol, we just religiously change the oil after every couple runs. But I mean, that AMSOIL worked really good. When we had to check the engine for in tech for the, they stick a thing to measure the bore in there and then a thing to measure the stroke to make sure you're not cheating for cubic inches. Like everything looked good in there. It's just as good as it was when we went there. So
are you running like 5W40, 030? Like I have no idea what a 2JZ what's recommended for
7590.
And then that's rear diff. Yeah, my friend.
250 weight.
Yeah. No, but I have no idea are you using their regular Signature Series synthetic that we would buy over the counter?
That's what we put in the tow rig, just the Signature Series diesel stuff. Land speed scaping truck, we use the 1040 Dominator competition oil in that. 1040, it's got lots of zinc in it. And
literally?
It works really good.
Hey, you know what I didn't see? I'm sure that I did, but it didn't stick out at me. You always do like really creative fire suits. And you've done like the Wonder Bread style. You did like you and Aaron Kaufman did the matching like mariachi guys, whatever the hell you were like up on Pikes Peak.
Right.
What were you doing? I know you had a really badass helmet. for Bonneville, but I didn't see like any kind of like crazy fire
It
suit.
was white because of the reflection of the salt off the heat, right?
So Sawbelt makes all my road racing suits, and we did like a replica of the Talladega Nights like Wonder Bread suit, except it says AMSOIL across instead of Wonder Bread. That's my road race suit, but my Bonneville suit is custom made by Simpson, and it's an SFI 20 suit. And if you guys have ever put one of these things on, like you feel this one's custom made, so it's like as sleek as it can possibly be. But it's so thick, I still look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in this thing. But it's custom,
your build,
it
my
says
friend.
Toyo and Heatwave and AMSOIL on it. It's got all my sponsors, but it's just a really nice white suit. There's no theme or anything to it.
Okay. Well,
The truck was awesome enough. You
I
didn't need
look
to take
forward
away
every
from it.
year when you go to Pikes Peak because it's like the big reveal of the costume. You know what I mean?
So that's my thing. Like people take road racing too seriously, and like I'm there to take it serious, obviously, because it's a freaking sketchy race, but I like to have fun with it. So like, last year I had like the black cowboy thing, and the year before that I had the Dia de los Muertos thing, and then Kaufman had the mariachi thing, and yeah, it's just fun.
That's our friend Scott Birdsall, everybody.
Give it up. Give it up. America.
Yay.
Go
World
America.
record holder and champion.
Oh, that's right. We have to announce him that way from now on.
Oh, do we
World
do?
record holder, yeah.
Oh.
Scott Birdsall.
All right.
All right, we'll do it
You guys ever watch Game of Thrones where they're like protector of the realm and all these other crazy things? Like, I want at least 10 titles before you guys introduce me.
All right. It'll happen for the next one.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have to think of all of them. A world record holder.
Protector of the realm is pretty freaking hard to beat.
There is the fastest man on no wheels at Pikes Peak.
Chancellor of Speed.
Oh, I like Chancellor of Speed.
My favorite one was King of the Side of the Mountain.
King of the Side.
I can't beat that. We're gonna go with it.
Thank you. Good night. All right, Scott. Congratulations. Love you.
Mean it.
All right, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you. Thanks.
All right, see you, buddy.
Later.
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis with production elements by DJ Omar Khan. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and give us a 5-star rating. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to show your support than by patronizing our sponsors.
All right, you guys. Love you, mean it. Bye.